Here's a question. How far would you go to save someone you loved?
Hey everyone, just a quick notice. You might notice I'm wearing a different shirt than I was just a second ago in the video. Here it goes. So this video was originally meant to be aired on Mondays, and from now on they will be aired on Mondays. However, I had some problems editing the video, and then my computer died, and then I was like, well, I'll just edit the computer at my friend's house, and then, just upload it there. But then I plugged the computer in to be charged, didn't edit the video or upload it, or I also left the computer at my friend's house, so I actually ended up having to get it after work and finish editing it after work, so it is like 2:30 in the morning on a Wednesday, and I will be uploading this video tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm so very sorry, but that's what happens when you're me. Thank you so much for your understanding. Enjoy the film.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Emsweller and welcome to my channel. This is Life with Emmy. For those of you who don't know me, Emmy is my rap alter ego, and she is, well, she's basically me. I'm a Gemini, so it works. Welcome to 2021. We have survived our 2021st revolution around the sun. Woo woo! Or, our 2021st revolution around the sun since we started counting 2 revolutions around the sun. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Since it is a new year, I thought that I would stop, walk slowly into the new year, look around, don't touch anything. Look, people, 2020 was a crazy year, and we still don't know where the murder hornets went. I'm just saying. So, we were having an introduction, weren't we? Yes. So, Life with Emmy. I started this channel, I want to say we're in 2019, probably like fall 2019. I was like, yeah! And I released like 3 videos, and then life and 2020 happened, and so here we are. But it is a brand new year, and I decided I wanted to try something new, so here it goes. I'm back and with a brand new series. So this new series I am calling Movies and Makeup Mondays. So there's this fantastic girl on YouTube. Her name is Bailey Sarian, and she does murder, mystery, and makeup Mondays. She's incredible. She's beautiful. She does incredible makeup looks while at the same time telling us about a true crime thing that has been, that she's researched. I don't know how she picks it out, what happens. Maybe she just watches a true crime and thinks we should talk about that. Who knows? But anyway, she does it, and she does an incredible job of it, and it's super duper fun. And so if you like murder and mysteries and makeup, definitely run over and check out her channel later because she is fantastic. Go. You'll thank me later. But I also love makeup, and I obviously love murders and mystery, and I've done makeup tutorials on my channel before, but I mean, every time I've done them or tried to do them, it's so like, been there, done that. Like, who hasn't seen a makeup tutorial before? And so I was looking for a way to kind of like shake things up, and well, Bailey Sarian and her format inspired me. So now we're doing movies and makeup. So here's it goes. I am going to give you the plot of a fantastic movie that I love. Maybe I've watched it recently, maybe I haven't watched it recently, and I just love it. And so I'm going to give you the plot of the movie while doing my makeup. But there is a catch. What, you thought that you were just gonna like saunter up into this channel and just watch me talk about a movie and then do my makeup and then walk away? Like, no, come on guys, I'm a Gemini. We do not roll like that. We do not make it that easy.
Okay, one more quick thing here. So, I did mention that it's like really early in the morning, and I was editing, and I edited out a part that I actually meant to keep, and I didn't feel like going through 30 minutes of video feed and actually putting it back in. So here is the catch to the whole video thing. The only thing I'm going to do is tell you the story or the plot of the film. I'm not giving you character names, I'm not giving you actor names, I'm not giving you director names, I'm not even going to tell you, for the most part, what country it was filmed in. You get one clue a week to help you kind of try and figure out what the video is from, and then from there on, you're on your own, people. So yeah, back to the video.
All right, so here we go. Today's clue. I'm actually going to give you 2 clues. Clue number 1. Since Bailey Sarian did inspire this, our first movie is gonna be about crime. Okay, so maybe that's not much of a clue, but you know what? It's my channel and you're gonna have to deal with it, all right? Okay, my second clue for you. Second clue is this is not an American film. That's right, people. I watch international films from all kinds of different countries because they're all fantastic. Let's go. But first, I have to put the hair away. Okay? Pro tip. Whenever getting ready to do your makeup, put the hair away. Alright. This movie does need a quick disclaimer, and this disclaimer goes like this. Warning. The following movie is about crime and will contain graphic descriptions of crime scenes and or murders. If you have a weak stomach or are possibly triggered by violence or violent subjects or the talk of violent subjects, please go find a different video to watch at this time. Thank you. Alright, let's go. So, our movie opens up with a beautiful woman in a red dress looking disheveled as all get out. Sitting on the floor of like this rundown basement looking thing. Don't have enough chapstick on my lips. In like this rundown basement thing, and she appears to be talking to herself or maybe talking to someone who's not there. I don't know. Anyway, so she's talking to herself when we hear, "Help! Someone save me from this psycho!" Yeah, you guessed it. There's someone else in there. Lady goes into the other room, is screaming, shut up, yelling at her, and we see a young woman, goth punk looking, tied to a hospital bed. Kinky, am I right? She's gone full badass, yelling at this lady in red, being like, "Oh, you think you scare me? I'ma kick your ass, I'ma kill you. Instead, you better kill me first." That kind of stuff, like, go girl. The woman in red has this like exchange with our punk goth looking girl, and you know, words are exchanged, a scalpel is pulled, threats are made, and just when it looks like our chick in red is about to stab our goth punk girl, the scene cuts. The next scene, our lady in red, I'm just going to call her Red because, you know, I'm not giving you no character name for you to look up later. No, so our lady in red, I'm calling her Red. She's now sitting on a bed. And she's looking distressed and sad. And she's got a computer in front of her. And on the other end of this computer, other side of this computer, on the other end of like this video call that's going on this computer is a man talking to her, and we kind of gather that this guy is her husband, and he's just like asking her to not be upset, telling her that, you know, he's not going to be gone for that long, saying that he hopes she doesn't feel lonely. And Red looks at him and she's all like, "I'm not alone." Yeah, bitch, because you've got some person tied up in your basement. But that's not the point. Husband gets all kinds of worried. He's like, "Who is this person?" Some drama ensues. We learn that there is a serial killer in town kidnapping young girls. Sound familiar? So, the drama ensues, and later we come to find out that Red is pregnant, and that's what she meant when she told her husband that she's not alone, because she's pregnant, so therefore she's not going to be alone for 9 months, even if there's technically no one else in the house with her. Everyone's excited, yay, video call ends, husband has to get on the plane. There's a knock on the door. So Red goes and opens the door, and there's this police detective guy standing out there looking maybe just a little bit more than drunk. And he's all like, "Yo, can I come in? And she's all like, no, I'm by myself and I don't know you. And he's like, oh, you don't remember me? So he pulls out this picture from like his badge, wallet thing, and shows it to her. And in this picture is a picture of the two of them looking pretty dang cozy, you know what I mean? And he pushes his way through into the house, and he goes and he pours himself a drink, and she's all like, you need to leave, you know, my husband is out of town and you need to leave because this isn't right. And he's all like, look, I'm gonna finish my drink and then I'm gonna go. And Red's like, you gonna finish your drink and go? And he's like, I'm gonna finish my drink and go. And she's all like, all right, fine. So detective guy takes his drink and starts walking about their house. Not only is he walking about their house, but he's not drinking his drink, and he's grabbing things. But he's not just grabbing like random things, like he's grabbing specific things. Hair from a hairbrush, cigarette butts. He even goes into the shower. Yeah, like Bailey Sarian would say about right now, suspicious. So he's walking around, and eventually Red calls him on this. I'm just gonna call him police. Like I'm calling Red, I'm just calling him police because he's police. So Red calls police on this. She's like, excuse you, what are you doing? That's my shit, you can't just take it. Police totally ignores her and instead hones in on this picture of this young man standing with a couple of people in front of a house, and he picks up this picture and he's all like, yo, who's this? And she's like, that's my husband and that's his family home. And he's like, aha. And he just leaves the house with the stuff, and Red is all like, good riddance, be gone with your ass. Scene change to, I don't know, maybe the next day, and there is this entire police force just coming down the road towards this house that we saw in the picture before. And they're all like, yo, where's police? He told us to meet him here. So they all go inside to try and find police, and sure enough, they find police. He's coming out of this, cellar-like thing, and he's just puking his guts out. Warning, this is where our disclaimer starts to come into play. So they go down into this cellar thing, and they find this body of what appears to be a young girl, headless, rotting, and she is hanging from the ceiling of this cellar thing by chains. And on a counter-like thing in this cellar, there are a bunch of fetuses, human fetuses, in jars lined up on the counter like trophies. So it turns out that our serial killer was kidnapping pregnant girls, and up to this point we hadn't, like, no one had found the girls, so no one knew exactly what was going on. So they've been looking for him, but now they found him. They found one body and they're like, ah, crap, well the other bodies must be here too. So they start looking around for these other bodies, and they're like, we can't find them. And police is like, oh, they gotta be here somewhere. And then he runs upstairs onto a balcony and looks out. He's like, hey, look, trees. Let's dig under these newly plotted trees. And they do, and sure enough, there's the girls. After finding the girls, police then go and arrest Red's husband, because Red owned the house and grew up in the house where all the bodies were found. And on top of that, it turns out Red's husband is a gynecologist. He's a doctor. And, you know, he clearly has the ability to perform an abortion. And that's what happened to these young girls, is that an abortion was performed. Their babies were put in these jars, and then he kills them and he mutilates them. And so he's a sicko, and they're like, it must be the doctor guy because it's his house and he's a gynecologist and he can do it. Red goes and visits her husband in jail, and she's all like, Bibs, babes, oh no, I know you didn't do this, I know you didn't do this. You know, we gotta get you a lawyer. We gotta find you a way out of this mess. At this point, it becomes very apparent that everything that's happening right now, that's happened since we learned that Red was pregnant, is happening before the first opening scene. So that whole scene with the goth punk girl, that all is like post what's going on and what we're talking about right now. So at this point, Red maybe hasn't kidnapped anybody. Her husband's all like, yeah, I didn't do it, and you know, I know how to, a lawyer, I know a lawyer. We should call him. He's a former patient of mine. Why a guy needs to see a gynecologist, I don't know, but he's a former patient of mine, and so, you know, go call him. So Red goes looking for this lawyer guy, and she finds him, and she goes to his house, and she's all like, I need your help. My husband's been arrested and accused of being, you know, the serial killer. And the lawyer dude's all like, your husband's not a serial killer. I know your husband's not a serial killer. Like, he helped me and my wife conceive our child. Like, you know, he wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm taking the case. I'm taking the case. So he takes the case, and we fast forward to his bail hearing, doctor's bail hearing. And the lawyer guy is like, hey, so you should give my client some bail because, like, all the evidence you have against him is circumstantial. Like, okay, yes, he's a doctor, and not only is he a doctor, he's a gynecologist, and he can perform an abortion, but so can a half dozen other quacks in this, you know, country, you know, so, like, it's all circumstantial, you need to give him bail. And prosecution's like, yeah, can we have, like, 5 minutes? We're, like, waiting for someone. And so they're like, what? And in walks police. And police is there, and he's like, Your Honor, I know that this guy did it, and here's my evidence. Evidence which looks incredibly familiar. You know why? Because it's all the evidence that he took from Red's house while he was drunk, right before he mysteriously found out where the killed girls were. Yeah, right. Not suspicious at all. So, doctor gets given no bail whatsoever. So, Red gets all sad and upset. And she goes to the lawyer guy, and she's like, look, I can tell you how I know my husband didn't do this. And she explains to the lawyer guy about police showing up, taking all that evidence, and then all that evidence showing up in court. And the lawyer guy is like, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense as to why it all, you know, seems to add up, and why everything is just planted perfectly is because this guy's your ex, and he's got, like, some beef to grind, and so, you know, like, wow, okay, so can we prove this? And Red is like, I don't have any proof. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't have any proof either. So they're trying to figure out a way to prove that Red's husband is innocent. So lawyer guy looks at Red, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm normally a finance guy, and when we have overwhelming evidence like this, it normally involves a witness, and I would tell my clients that if the witness were to disappear, that the case would have no firm ground. And Red's like, how's that gonna help us here? He's like, well, you know, if the killer were to strike again, or, you know, if a copycat killer were to strike and say, hey, oh, look, oops, you got the wrong guy because I'm still here, that could prove Red's husband's innocence. And Red's like, are you telling me to kill somebody? And the lawyer guy's like, no, this is all hypothetically speaking, okay? So hypothetically speaking, yes, if you were to go out and kill someone, then yes, it would prove that your husband is not the murderer, and they would let him go. And Red's like, no, I'm not killing anybody, you know, like, that's just wrong. So she struggles with this, and she struggles with trying to figure out how to prove her husband's innocent. she contemplates running police over. Red calls lawyer guy. She's all like, hey, if the police guy dies because he got run over, does that prove that my husband's innocent? And he's like, no, that just proves that the guy got run over. Like, it has to be a copycat. It has to be the exact same thing. It has to be a young girl who's pregnant and single, and the baby needs to be aborted, and she needs to be mutilated and headless and found in a setting similar to the ones that all the others were found in. Red's all like, ugh, fine, no, I'm not doing it. So she's trying to figure out a legal way to prove her husband's innocence when her husband gets attacked in jail. And Red's like, what? And he gets basically put into kind of like intensive care. He almost got killed when he got attacked in jail. And the police are like, yeah, probably like, you know, one of the families of the victims bribed someone to have your husband killed because they don't think justice is working fast enough. And at this point, Red's like, well, shit, I gotta get him out of there. Like, he got lucky this time. He might not survive another attack in jail. And so she's like, alright, I'm gonna do it. So she goes, and she goes looking for a single young woman who is pregnant. And she happens to find one. She happens to find a girl. And you guessed who the girl was. It's our goth punk girl from the first scene. So everything's starting to add up. So we learn a little bit about Red's background at this point in time. We learn that Red was in love with police and she wanted to marry police. However, her parents didn't like police because well, maybe because he's a shady ass guy and he gets drunk and maybe possibly sets up people to be a serial killer. But you know, kind of the idea is that he's a policeman and he's not good enough. They're sending their daughter through medical school, and so they're like, you should marry a doctor. And so they're trying to set her up with the doctor guy that she is now married to. And Red's all like, no, and it turns out she's a part-time tattoo artist. And then we don't know at this point what happens. We just know that Red, instead of marrying police like she originally wanted to, married the doctor guy, and she is a surgeon, but she doesn't actively practice surgery. She instead teaches the art of surgery to students. And Goth Punk Girl is one of Red's students. And Red's like, are you kidding me? Could it have been anybody else? Nope, it couldn't have been anybody else. So Red's like, whatever, I gotta prove my husband's innocence. So after a series of laughably bad attempts at kidnapping our goth punk girl, Red finally manages to kidnap our goth punk girl and take her to a secret hideaway. So Red takes her there, and she's like acting like she's a guy, and she's like prepping goth punk girl for surgery so that way she can, you know, abort her baby, which she's not exactly happy with. When Red comes upon the brilliant idea that what if she kidnaps punk goth girl and then lets her go, and only on the condition that goth punk girl runs about and tells everyone that the serial killer is still out there, like she escaped. And everyone, and the lawyer guy, she called the lawyer guy, and the lawyer guy is like, yo, that might work. She's like, yes. And so she goes to get ready to release our goth punk girl. But you remember how I was talking about how, like, our goth punk girl in the first scene was, like, having none of that victim stuff? Yeah, she's definitely having none of that victim stuff. And so while Red's out of the room calling the lawyer guy, goth punk chick is figuring a way to get out of this situation, and she manages to break free. And so Red ends up having to, again, subdue our goth punk girl, and is like, I was gonna let you go, but now I have no choice. And the scene that we saw at the beginning of the movie takes place. We see Red, she's now talking, we now know she was talking to her kid about what to do, because they gotta save daddy, and you know, scalpel. And just when it looks like Red's gonna skewer goth punk girl, the scene changes, and it changes to police arguing with the citizens of the town going like, look, it's not the same guy. It is not the serial killer that killed all the other girls, and you want to know why? I know why, because you know what? That guy's behind bars. And they're all like, oh, yeah, we're having a hard time believing you right now. And just when police is like about to prove that he is in fact right, and it's not our serial killer guy, bling bling bling, hello, yeah, Sarge, what's the phone about? Oh yeah, it's this person calling to say that you will find the missing girl in the same place as all the other girls. So the police go there, and sure enough, there in the same cellar, suspended from the ceiling by chains, is this headless person that looks like our goth punk girl, and there's a baby in a jar. Ugh, yeah. So things are clearly not looking good for police. The lawyer guy gets together, and he calls for another trial, like another bail hearing, and he's like, yeah, so I'm not here to argue whether or not my client is innocent, but my client's innocent. So you should definitely give him some bail. And prosecution's like, but we had such solid evidence. And the judge is like, yeah, but come on, like, give the guy some bail. So doctor's now out of jail, and everyone's happy except for police, who's like sitting here getting drunk. So Red and her husband are celebrating, and then Red starts to take her husband to this place where she was keeping Goth Punk Girl, and she's telling him the story about how when he essentially got put in intensive care in the jail, that she could not stand the thought of him being in there another moment longer, and so she took some drastic measures to prove that he was innocent. And she takes him down to the room where she was holding the goth punk girl, and you're thinking, oh no, she's gonna show him the crime scene, and lo and behold, goth girl's not dead. So because Red is a medical teacher, she oftentimes has to like get bodies and things from like the mortuary, and so rather than kill our goth punk girl, she decides to get a body that's like kind of a similar size and weight of our goth girl, and she decides to make it look like goth girl's dead. The goth girl's not really dead, so thank goodness for that. So Red's like, yeah, so I got you out of jail, but now we have this pregnant girl in our basement, so what do we do? And husband's like, look, it's a problem for another day, let's not worry about it, you know, I'm just kind of super like stoked over the fact that you would go to such lengths to prove that I'm innocent. And so he's like, yeah, we're just gonna go to bed, it'll be great. So Red wakes up in the middle of the night to find that her husband is gone. So she goes looking for him, and she ends up going down to the room where Goth Girl is, and he finds her preparing Goth Girl for surgery. And she's like, babe, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna fix her. And she's like, you're gonna fix her? He's like, oh yeah, she's a whore like my mother was, so I'm gonna fix her. And that's when Red goes, wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right, Mr. Doctor Dude, Mr. Couldn't Hurt a Fly on the Wall was the serial killer the whole freaking time. I know, right? Yeah, so it turns out that he's adopted. I mean, like, his birth mom was like a single woman, and that's why she gave him up for adoption. And so he thinks that any woman who is single and gets pregnant is a whore, and so he's taking his revenge out on his birth mom by killing other young pregnant girls. Logic, right? Serial killer. So anyways, Red's like, oh shit, and she's like, I'm gonna go tell someone, but the doctor's like, yeah, no, you can't go tell nobody. He kind of captures her, but Red's like, yo, I got my phone, so she ends up calling police. How she still has police's number, I don't know, but she does. She ends up calling police, and police is like, I'll save you. So he comes down to try and save her. and that goes horribly. He ends up actually also getting kidnapped by the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, so I got y'all here, and I'm about to perform this surgery, but first, you, police guy, how the hell did you know that I was the serial killer? Story time! So, turns out that police had a little sister, and this little sister got pregnant outside of wedlock, and she was going to the doctor's clinic, which was in a different city at this point in time. And that's when his first murder happened. It was Police's sister. So Police is like investigating his sister's murder and goes to question the doctor because he's figured out that it's probably the doctor. So he's figured out that it's probably the doctor, so he goes to question it. Doctor gets a tip, like a heads up, saying that police is coming after him, right? So the doctor is waiting for police, and he gets there, he bangs police over the head without looking at his face, and then continues to bash his head in. Clearly, doctor is trying to kill police to hide the fact that he is the serial killer. But he doesn't actually end up killing police. Instead, he just ends up putting him in a coma for 2 years. And so during this time, that's when Red thinks that police has apparently left her, so she agrees to the arranged marriage with the doctor, who, by the way, is the serial killer. Police wakes up 2 years later, goes to track down his ex-girlfriend, and goes to track down this serial killer, and finds that his girlfriend is married to the murderer of his sister, and he's like, yo, I gotta stop this bitch. But he had like no evidence, no proof whatsoever, and so he was trying to figure out a way to do it, and he couldn't figure it out, so he just ends up planting the evidence. And Dr. Guy's like, what? That's genius. That's brilliant. I should have left my mouth open. Doctor's like, yo, that's genius, that's brilliant, but you know what, guys, it's time to get this show on the road. I gotta kill some people, and then I gotta be on my merry way. But, you know, these people, they ain't gonna go down without a fight. Police breaks loose, he struggles with the doctor, Red gets loose, helps Goth Girl get loose, is trying to save Goth Girl. At some point, Doctor accidentally ends up stabbing Red, and then Police, like, takes a scalpel to the back of his neck and is, like, twisting all up and back in there, and Doctor goes limp. So we fast forward to the next scene, and Red is in the hospital. She's lost her baby. Goth Girl is also in the hospital, but she's fine and her baby's fine. And Red's like, yeah, so I kidnapped the girl, and you know, and I'm sorry, and yeah, take me to jail. And police is all like, nah, Goth Girl's not gonna press no charges. You know, we get you, we understand you. And you know what, girl, I still love you if, you know, want to be with me. And she's like, yeah, I still want to be with you. So the police is like, yeah, I just gotta close up the paperwork on this case. And he goes to the surgeon doctor and he's like, yo, so where's the body? And the surgeon guy's like, what body? And police is like, the body of the doctor guy that I brought in. He's a serial killer. And the surgeon guy's like, oh, yeah, that guy, not dead. He's like, you brought him in, he was barely alive, but we managed to save him. Police is going, shh, I gotta find this guy right now, because, like, he's not dead, and this guy is one bad guy, right? So he goes running to the guy's room and finds that he's not there. He disappeared. And everyone's like, but how could he disappear? He couldn't walk. He had a scalpel in the back of his neck, for crying out loud. Cut to the next scene. Doctor's in a wheelchair being wheeled out by this lady. And this lady is the wife of the lawyer who said, I know Doctor couldn't have killed anybody. He went to for a fly. She takes him up to this van, and she's like, I got him. He's safe. Roll down the window. Who's in the van? Lawyer. That's right. Lawyer and doctor were in cahoots all from the beginning. It would appear that somehow a wife was also involved. I'm feeling bad for this kid, man. So anyway, so all that happens, and cut, and movie. that's a wrap, people. Yeah, roll credits. I'm pretty sure they're setting it up for a second movie. So that's the movie. That's the very long version of the movie. I hope you all liked it. I hope you all like my makeup look. You know, I like to call it my day to night look because, you know, you could comfortably wear this look to a business gathering, but then you just like let your hair down and you can comfortably wear this out. I love a day to night look. So, I hope you all liked today's video. If you did like today's video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with all your friends and let them know about it. Also, ring the notification bell. Y'all know how to do it. It goes ring, ring, ring the bell. Yeah, that's right. I got a couple more things in store for us with the new year. I do have a podcast, at the Commuters Podcast. Sorry, I've been away for a minute. My car is in the shop, but I'll get it back on Wednesday, at which point our podcast will re-ensue, and I hope to start putting videos of the podcast up on the channel as well. And who knows, I might start doing something on Fridays. It'll be pretty darn cool. In the meantime, y'all need to stay healthy, stay safe, stay happy, wear your mask, and good luck 2021!